Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to talk to you about the potential that the Casino DLC has, and in particular, what could very much be the best DLC to ever come to GTA Online if done right. The potential of the casinos are endless in regards of how much you can do with it, but obviously this is all depending on what exactly Rockstar decides to do with the casino itself. If you look back at the video that I have done a couple of weeks ago, kind of going over what potentially could be done within the casino in terms of what kind of games we can play and all that stuff, then you saw that there's definitely a lot of stuff there. I personally feel that if they try to grab what GTA San Andreas did and further expand upon that, they're already heading into the right direction, because essentially what I personally feel they should do with the casino DLC and the casino itself is have the casino be a really big social space where you can do a bunch of things like gambling, the poker, the blackjack, etc, etc. But not only that, because gambling in itself is not going to be a good DLC. Obviously, there's going to be some other things attached to it to make it interesting, especially for those who are not able to play those gambling games because they're banned in their country. You see, what I personally would really like to see is to have missions attached to the casinos as well. For example, if you look back at the mission that you could do in GTA San Andreas for the casino, we had fake chips that were making their way to the casino, and Woozy Moo sent you on a mission saying, hey, this is what's going on, could you please go and have a look and take out that supplyment of fake chips? Something along the lines of casino management missions would be very cool. Nightclubs, in my opinion, did this pretty well. I mean, sure, at its core there were relatively simple missions, but you did those missions for a reason, because your popularity stays up. There were certain drinks that stayed into your club as well. Alongside of that, you also got cash every in-game day for the fact that you had a certain level of popularity. Now, you could argue that nightclubs, it was definitely a lot of potential wasted. I would personally say that, yeah, that's kind of the case. Hell, I've done a video on it, but, that's a year ago at this point. Let's just, leave it for what it was, I guess. But I'm hoping that they're not going to have a repeat with what they've done with nightclubs. Because nightclubs in itself, there was a lot of potential in there too. And for the most part, I feel that they did a good job with the overall DLC whenever everything was finally released. But one of the major complaints I had with nightclub DLC was, especially when it launched, there wasn't a whole lot of things to play. In terms of gameplay attached to the nightclubs, all you had was a business which would generate money for you like every other business. And yes, you could also do some business battles in the progress, which in my opinion was definitely the highlight of that update. And till this day is still something I do actively because I think it's very, fun to do. It brings a little competition inside the free mode, and it's just all around just a fun activity to do in my opinion, alongside of the fact that you also get $20,000 for it, which is always a very nice bonus. But what I personally hope is that when we're going to start off with the casino DLC, that there is at least going to be a good basis of gameplay things that you can do. That we're not only going to sit there and have another business where you just simply are going to see money being generated over time, and yet obviously there's also gambling, but I don't want to focus too much on gambling itself because I feel that can be relatively limited. Not everyone is going to be interested in playing poker and those kind of games, primarily because they might not even be able to play it to begin with. So it's really important that the casino DLC is going to be this DLC which essentially is going to set some things right from the previous two DLCs that we got, which is obviously After Hours and Arena War, because gameplay value was definitely not something that we really got in 2018 in terms of DLCs. Especially with After Hours and Arena War, they were, there were cool modes, the idea was cool, but unfortunately, Arena War really suffered from adversary mode disease, where the idea and the concepts were great, but it wasn't fleshed out enough to keep people interested. And if we're gonna be honest, how many of you are still actively playing poker in Red Dead Online? Personally, I played it for a day or two, and then I was kind of done with it. Primarily because obviously also a monetary side of things, so that's also something that's going to be very important. If gambling is available to you, then obviously it also has to be pretty rewarding as well. Like, it would be really cool if you can make some very nice money with gambling. Obviously there's going to be a very big risk and reward kind of thing, but it would make it more more exciting to play that gambling. We don't really know how exactly everything is going to work, but what I would personally assume is they're just going to use your regular money, and then, you know, you'll just play with it, and you have $1,000 here, $10,000 there, and kind of that way you'll just, you know, poker your way to riches or whatever. And not only that, like the social space that the casino could be is like, you know, you could have, for example, I don't know, drinking competitions, you know, whatever, or a bar or a restaurant. Like you could have certain challenges attached to the casino as well. Like there are so many things that they could do with it, but obviously we can't sit here and expect like, you know, a gigantic update with that things that are going to change the game forever. I mean, obviously a casino is definitely going to be very game changing, but what I personally hope is that they're really going to prioritize having gameplay outside of the gambling stuff, because there is a lot of things they can do, and if the other gameplay stuff is going to be adversary modes again, I think that there's going to be a bunch of people pretty disappointed with the DLC, especially if they're the people that are not able to play the poker and all that stuff. But those are just some of my thoughts. I'd love to know what you think. What would you love to see in a casino DLC? Do you think that there's a lot of potential that will go to waste, or do you think that, hey, you know, with the amount of years that they probably have been working on this in terms of figuring out how things could work and what systems to use? Let me know in those comments down below. I'd love to hear what you think. But with all that said and with all that done, that was it for this one. Thank you also very much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe for much more casino DLC content coming to you very soon. And I'll see you all later.